This is the last time I had a big kitchen, when I was like 5. Until now. See that wall behind the plate there? Just wait, because we've got a brand new kitchen and it's huge compared to what we've been living in. I don't even know what to do with all this space. It's nuts, but I'm going to be cooking up a lot more. This is our little dining room area. We don't even have like a table for it or anything. The closets and stuff, here, I'll show you real quick. If you're not interested in seeing my kitchen, that's cool. Go ahead and fast forward to the Swedish meatball recipe. I understand. If you are interested though, hold tight. It won't take too long. That's just a basic utility closet. And here's my pantry. I love it. Am I gonna cover up the wire shelves like everybody on TikTok? No, probably not. But this though, get it. Amazon, less than $10. It will save you on buying bottles of water, and you will save the environment as well. It's a great deal. Highly suggest you look into it, and it's rechargeable. So yeah, I mean, I couldn't be happier with the pantry. I don't hoard food like I used to in the beginning of the pandemic. So and we're right across the street to a grocery store. Now here, see the difference? We have a brick wall now, because I found at the Dollar Tree some wallpaper, because this wall is matte paint. It's not even like an eggshell. There's no sheen to it. It's ridiculously hard to clean, and I feel that in a kitchen you should have a backsplash that, you know, the grease and everything that splatters up. I mean, I'm a cook, you know, so I needed something renter friendly that was going to protect the walls. Dollar Tree came through. So for less than $20, JR was able to install that for me. Am I still organized? I am. And another Dollar Tree find. Everything. I love the Dollar Tree. Even with their price increase by 25 cents, they are still a great deal on many different things. I have my spice. Oh, well, yes, Nana's kitchen, because the baby's going to be here in October. I'm going to be a grandma. So my spices, I've downsized. I got rid of my big bulky spice holders, and now I just have my drawer, and I love it. Very basic fridge and freezer. Keep my cookbooks up there. This is a beverage cabinet. This is our coffees, teas, hot chocolates, smoothie ingredients, stuff to make foo-foo drinks. So that's, you know, we're all incorporated in that place. Over here, that's my recipe keeper, and this is pictures of my food, because I'm all into food porn. This is my Tupperware, you know, to go for lunches, food storage type thing, yada yada. This is silverware. I really like these silverware holders, and this is where I keep all my baking stuff. I don't bake, hence there's not that much, and really we don't toast much either. And then for my pots and pans, I just have a thing that slides out, and really it's just the two of us. I don't need a whole lot of equipment. My other cabinets hold things. This is under the sink, obviously. Things like my Instant Pot, my food processor. So all my appliances I finally have room for. None of them have to be out on the counter. This, however, I did splurge on, because I absolutely think it's ingenious the way that you can just cut the plastic or the foil from the drawer. Yes, it's great. Amazon find. They also make one for the baggies, but I didn't want to invest all that money, so I just got the little bamboo holders at Target. And this holds my little plastic Tupperwares for dressings and such. And again, I freeze food in the freezer baggies for space. I'm not a big proponent of using plastic, but as you can see, we are jam-packed all the time. And I think the fridge is really the pain in my butt. I just can't get it organized. And I watch all of those videos on fridge organization with envy, but it just doesn't work for me. Alexa controlled lighting, we love it. JR is not done yet. He wants to put maybe some lights under here. We're going to get some counter chairs. We're going to get some cabinet lights underneath the microwave over there. And again, I don't know if we're going to get like a little round bar table or something. I don't know. We have a lot of stuff still we want to get, but we have light. We have so much light. So hopefully the quality of the videos, even though I haven't changed a thing, I still have a piece of crap phone. I don't have a tripod. I don't have a great microphone, although I'm using headphones tonight. I borrowed from my gamer boy. Anyway, let's get into it. The Swedish meatballs. We go to IKEA for the meatballs, of course, to shop as well, but we usually pick up this bag here of frozen meatballs. I don't know how to pronounce that. Maybe my friend Monia can help me with that, but we just buy this, and then we get the jam, and we get the packet of the gravy, and it's delicious, and that's how we usually make them at home. And of course, every time we go to IKEA, we eat there, but this is kind of expensive online, so I looked up how to make authentic Swedish meatballs. So ground beef and ground pork, onion and shallot, milk, a couple pieces of bread with the crust removed and shredded up, just white bread, an egg. We have salt, pepper, nutmeg, and allspice. And I'll get into that a little bit more. And everything, of course, will be linked down below, the exact amounts of everything. Butter divided, some beef stock, Worcestershire sauce, sour cream, flour, and the lingonberry jam, jelly jam. You can use other stuff. I'll get to that at the very end, but this is the Swedish, that is, the official original stuff that they use with the Swedish meatballs. So, electric stove. Let's talk about those, okay? I hate them. It's been about 10 years since I've cooked on one, so now I'm back to kind of square one, the learning curve, and relearning how to cook on them, because it's very different than using gas. I really miss having a gas stove. I don't miss the risk factor of carbon monoxide poisoning, but to cook on. So this recipe was very challenging for me. Anyway, I sauteed the onion and the shallot, added it to the meat, and now I added the milk that was soaking, and as you can see, I'm mixing it up until it's like a paste. It's like until it looks like that, like a ball Play-Doh, and I'm going to add that in there. Why? Because it keeps the moisture in the meat, and the egg acts as a binder. I don't know, it's all kinds of weird food chemistry, physics. Now I'm adding the spice, and some Swedish people don't use the nutmeg. They only do it at like Christmas time, I guess. But it's a very small amount, and that's all you need. If you used any more, it would taste like a Christmas ornament, and you really don't want that. But I use the nutmeg because I think that is sort of traditional. I've seen recipes, though, that call for cardamom, so I don't really know which one is the most authentic. So now I'm just mixing up the meat. And again, you don't want to overmix, because then the meatballs will be too tight. But you want them to be where you can put a toothpick in them if you want to serve them that way, because a lot of people do use these for appetizers. But I'm just incorporating everything in there. I used ground pork that I already had frozen, that was already cooked, because my store was actually out of ground pork. So that's why it looked a little weird in the beginning. And I did that because I still wanted the pork flavor. I just put the ground pork that I had in my food processor to grind it up real little. So yeah, it was kind of weird. Spoiler alert, it turned out fine. But at first I was like, I don't know if the texture is going to be affected, but it wasn't. You don't have to use ground pork, though, and a lot of stores have meatloaf mixes. So I made my meatballs. I used my little scooper. You don't have to, and you can make them as big or as small as you'd like. And now we're just going to brown them in more butter. And you just want to brown them. You don't need to cook them all the way through. They will cook all the way through in the gravy later on, but for now we're just getting a nice yummy brown coating on there. You don't want to overcrowd, because if you do, then the meat will just steam. It will not actually get this browning on there, and that's what we want. So, meanwhile, we have some fresh broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots that we're getting ready to steam as a side dish. And you can serve the meatballs over egg noodles, or what we're doing is mashed potatoes, and I've got the potatoes in the Instant Pot. I will link that recipe down below as well, so you know how to get those done quickly. Now I'm just taking the meatballs out, keeping everything in there, and going to add my flour to make a roux. You can keep the brown bits in there. That's called fond. That's where all the flavor is. My brown bits were pretty big, and I was not anticipating that my roux would roux up real quick. Again, learning curve on the electric. So now I'm adding my beef stock very slowly to make my sauce. This is basically the color you want your roux to be, a color of coffee. And like I said, it came up super quick for me. So I did remove those larger pieces that got super dark because I was afraid that they would taste kind of burnt. And we don't want burnt ends in Swedish meatballs. That is not the place for burnt stuff. So fortunately, it did not end up tasting that way, but I was worried. Again, this is like expert level on an electric stove to do this. If you have any tips on how to do a roux on an electric stove, please comment down below, because I really do want to make some like etouffee and stuff like that in the winter time, and I'm scared now. But luckily these meatballs did turn out great. Now I'm putting them back in the gravy, and we're just going to let them simmer for about 20 minutes. Meanwhile, our mashed potatoes are mashed up and ready to go. Doesn't that look nice? I think that looks very nice. That's Instagrammy. And then I'm going to take the meatballs out of the gravy. You may be wondering why. Well, we still have a few finishing touches to do for our sauce. And yes, it's greasy and it's fat filled, and my gourd could never, but that's why I'm only gonna have like 2. This is mostly for JR and for Alice, who requested the recipe. So I just put in a splash of Worcestershire. I don't even measure it, it's just a splash. And I'm putting in about a tablespoonful of the lingonberry. Now, I've seen people use Dijon mustard, and I've seen people use heavy cream as opposed to sour cream, but I'm going to go with the sour cream and the jam, because I just think that it jams. It's the best combination. So I did let the sour cream sit for a little bit at room temp, so it's not super cold going in, so it won't completely curdle. And now we just want to incorporate that, mix it real good until it is also nice and smooth. You can either then pour the meatballs back into the pan, which is what I did, or you can put the meatballs in a bowl and pour the gravy over them, however you want to do it. And it doesn't matter, because the end result is going to be the same deliciousness. And then of course you want to serve that with that lingonberry jam on the side. Dip the meatballs in there, and it is, I mean, JR just wanted to lick his plate when he was done. I had a couple of bites and it was absolutely delicious. Even for the end of July, it's been unseasonably cool here, so we're getting away with it, but try it. It's delicious.